Hi, my name is Ben Schiller, and I created a film opening to a story called Drops. The story takes place in the present day, with a group of 4 friends who decide to go camping. When they go camping, they decide to take a mysterious substance, and then everybody loses consciousness. When I originally came up with the idea for this film opening, I knew that I wanted it to be a drama film. My film opening consists of many typical drama conventions, including the attention to detail in set design and in terms of the effort that was put into making the film seem as realistic as possible. For representation, my research showed that the general opinion on teenagers is that they are all about experimenting and trying different things, even drugs. I believe that I represented that stereotype accurately throughout my film. Also, just a side note, but the mysterious substance I used was water and purple food coloring. Moving on, I believe that my film is very engaging with my audiences. One of the biggest reasons that I credit for this is the pacing of the film. During the editing process, I felt that the pace needed to be fast, with rapid cuts that will keep the audience constantly looking for something new. I had to prepare before shooting for this fast pace by purposely composing my shots with the actors in intersections of the rule of thirds. By doing this, I was able to not have the audience's eyes going back and forth, which helps the film flow better and look smoother. Another way that I believe that my film engages with the audience is the plot. During the tent scene, there are 4 kids who are drinking an unknown substance. I intentionally never said what the substance was, as I wanted to leave it to the audience to decide. I also did this with the ending of the film. It ends with 4 kids passing out and then the title fading in. I did this because I believe that this set up the rest of the film if it was ever to be made. Who knows if the kids began hallucinating, or if they died, or if they just fell asleep. It's the element of uncertainty which keeps the audience engaged and curious to know what happens. To distribute my film, I would probably do it differently than many other drama films. Since I don't have the connections nor resources that many major film studios have at their disposal, I would probably try and stick to some cheaper solutions. I could distribute my film online using websites such as Vimeo and YouTube. I could then promote my film on social media platforms such as Instagram and Twitter. Throughout this project, I feel my production skills improved greatly. In the past, I made other short films and projects, but I was always running and gunning. By this I mean I would get some friends and a camera and just go make something up on the spot. For this project, I did everything differently. I meticulously planned out every aspect of the film, including a script, shot list, location scouting, and even the general colors that I wanted to illustrate throughout my film. My editing and color grading skills also improved throughout this process. I was always a good editor, but through this project, I was able to become even more proficient in Adobe Premiere Pro. For example, before I filmed the first part of my opening, I used some old footage and imported it into Premiere. I then just spent some time messing around with the color correction options, including basic correction, creative correction, color curves, and HSL secondary correction. One of the most important parts of this project was the technology that made my idea come to life. I integrated technology throughout every part of my film. While filming, I used a Canon T7i with an 18 to 55mm lens. I recorded my audio using a handheld microphone that was wired using an XLR cable into a Tascam audio recorder. Then, to edit my project, I had to use editing software, and specifically chose Adobe Premiere Pro. Premiere Pro was really important to this project for various reasons. It allowed me to edit my project easily and also provided some really useful tools, such as the Warp Stabilizer. The Warp Stabilizer is an Adobe plugin that analyzes a clip and then attempts to stabilize it. In my case, it worked wonders and made my shots hundreds of times better. My research on color grading also was a significant part of my project. Because, besides the fact that my skills improved, the use of color is really what I believe made my film seem complete. I focused mostly on the exposure and the tint colors. I tried to bring down the exposure of many of the shots as I believed that it added a more dramatic feel to the scene. I made the shadow tint slightly blue and the highlight tint slightly warmer. This created a greenish tint that looks natural but also really dramatic. I also used Adobe After Effects to create the title that appears at the end of my film. This was a rather long process for such a short title. Before the project, I had no experience at all with After Effects. But I knew that for this film opening, I needed a title that was going to be animated and not just still. So I went into After Effects and began messing around with some titles. And with a little help from the internet, I was able to make an animated title that I was able to bring back into Premiere Pro and use in my project. So thanks for taking the time to watch this and my film opening, and I hope you enjoyed it.